In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Nearpod for remote teaching. Nearpod is a dynamic student engagement platform with loads of pre-created material that you can use with your students. I believe Nearpod should be a key factor in any school's remote learning plan. And in this video, I'm going to show you the most important things you need to know about how to use it. My name is Kary, and this is my YouTube channel for the new EdTech classroom. If you like the tips that I share in this video, you can show your support by clicking on the like button, sharing it with other teachers that you know, and subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my weekly updates. I like to show a lot of free technology programs on my channel, and although Nearpod does have free features, to get the most out of it, there is going to be some cost involved. That said, even if you're not ready to sign up for a subscription, it still merits taking a look at Nearpod because similar to teacher pay teachers, you can purchase access to a single lesson for a relatively affordable amount. You can also sign up for annual plans, and if you want to just experiment with it, there are enough lessons that are totally free that you can at least get an idea of what Nearpod can do. Nearpod has so many features that it would be impossible to cover in a single video. For example, there's a Nearpod Google Slides add-on that I'll cover in another tutorial. One of the really powerful features of Nearpod is that it offers so many integrations with other technology platforms, but they're directly built into a Nearpod lesson, so students don't have to go around to multiple websites in order to access that content. So first, let's jump in and look at what a purely free Nearpod account would look like, and later I'll show you some of the more advanced features that come along with the paid subscription. When you first log in and go to the Nearpod lesson library, you'll see that there's a massive array of pre-created lessons for you to choose from. If you're only interested in looking for free lessons, you can filter out all the lessons you would need to pay for. You can also choose to filter lessons based on subject area. And here you can see that some of the lessons are free to use, and then there are other lessons that you can purchase individually if you don't have a subscription. In addition to subject area, you can also filter the lessons based on grade level, and you can also filter lessons based on the type of resource that you're looking for. Another option is just to search for lessons. So here I'm going to take a look and see what Nearpod has for lessons on ancient Greece. You'll notice that the pricing is now gone on all the lessons, and that's because I'm now showing you what it looks like inside of a paid subscription account. So let's say that I'm interested in taking a look at this lesson plan about the Olympic Games. If I click on that lesson, it will give me a preview of that lesson. You'll also notice that this particular lesson has an integration with Newsela, and in order to use it, you would also need a Newsela subscription. Most Nearpod lessons are going to look similar in that they start with an essential question, then they'll identify the specific learning targets, and next they'll show how the entire lesson is broken up using the 5Es lesson plan. One thing to note is that in my experience, the time that they estimate a lesson should take is a little bit low given all the activities that they're asking students to do in a single lesson. So for example, even though Nearpod says that this lesson should take place in one day, you might consider assigning it over a multiple day period. It really depends on what works best for you and your students. Now let's look at a couple of the activities that are in a Nearpod lesson just to get a sense of what students would be doing. So first you'll see that there's a dynamic bulletin board that works very similarly to Padlet. Next, you'll see that there's an integrated 360-degree image so that students can make a visual connection to the content that they're learning about. Most Nearpod lessons also include text resources as well as videos and a quiz. And in a moment, I'm going to show you what all that would look like on the student end. Before we take a look at the student experience of Nearpod, I'm going to show you how to edit a lesson as well as assign it to your students. If you decide that you want to use a lesson, you're first going to click Add to My Library. Then, if you want to edit a lesson, you're going to make sure you're on the My Library tab and click Edit on an individual lesson. It will ask you if you want to duplicate the lesson to preserve the original version, and I usually choose yes for this option. In edit mode, you'll see that you're able to delete slides or add new ones. I usually delete the slides that are intended to be more teacher-facing in terms of describing how the slide should be used. And then if you decide that you want to add some content to the lesson, You can do that by going to Add Slides. Here you'll be given some different options for the type of slide that you could create. You can add content from a program that's already integrated with Nearpod. You could add web content, or you can add an activity. So here, for example, I'm going to check to see if there's an engaging rap video that Flocabulary makes that I might want to add to my slides. I'll click on Flocabulary, search for the topic that I'm looking for, mythology, and see what pops up. If I click Add on the video, you'll notice that a new slide has been created that includes that Flocabulary video. In addition to the video, I'm also going to want to add an activity that students would do after watching it. Here I can add another slide, and instead of adding content, I'll add an open-ended question and just have students write down something that they learned while watching the video. You'll see that you can also turn on the option for students to voice record their answer rather than write it. And once your new slides have been created, if you want to change their location in the lesson, you can simply drag and drop them where you want them to go. You'll see when I click Student Preview that the first slide is the Flocabulary video that I chose, and the second is that prompt for students to write down what they learned while watching the video. Now let's look at how to assign this to students. If you want students to work on this lesson synchronously, you're going to want to click Live Lesson. If, however, you need students to be working on the lesson at different times, you'll go ahead and click Student Paste. And there you'll be given a bunch of different choices for how you could push this lesson out to students. Since I'm a Google Classroom user, I'm just going to quickly show you what this would look like if you create a Google Classroom assignment. If you click on Google Classroom, it will prompt you to select the class as well as the type of post that you want to make. Then all you need to do is fill in the assignment information and click Assign. Even though Nearpod is a self-contained lesson, I still like to embed it within a larger hyperdoc that I push out to my students. In this case, I'm going to generate a link, and then I'll copy and paste that link into my own hyperdoc. And when students click on it, it's going to take them directly into the Nearpod lesson without them even needing to enter a code. If all you do is direct students to go to the Nearpod website, they'll have to enter the code above in order to access the specific lesson that you just assigned. All right, now let's take a look at what Nearpod looks like on the student end. So let's say I'm a student and I click on the link that's in Google Classroom for this Nearpod assignment. First, it's going to prompt me to enter my name, and it's important that students use their real name, since this is going to be how you're going to identify who completed the assignment when you're looking at student reports. After the student has entered their name, they'll be taken directly to the slides for the lesson that you just assigned. Again, those first slides will cover the essential question, the learning target, and an overview of the lesson. And since this lesson has a built-in integration with Newsela, you'll see that it's going to prompt the student to sign in to their Newsela account in order to do all the activities in the lesson. Then students will complete the Engage activity by posting about what they already know about a topic on the bulletin board. And as students post, they'll also be able to see the answers that their classmates are posting as well. Like the other lesson I showed, this one also includes a 360-degree image. And then many Nearpod lessons also come with an integrated vocabulary matching game where students review vocabulary words and then match the word to the correct definition. Next, students are going to read a Newsela article on the topic. And once they've finished reading the article, they'll answer an open-ended question about what they just learned in the reading. Next is an integrated TED-Ed video with another short answer response. In addition to more traditional means of answering questions, Nearpod also has a drawing tool, and sometimes it will prompt students to draw a response to a question. And lastly, most of the lessons are going to end with a short quiz, and students will get immediate feedback on how they did on the quiz right after they've answered all the questions. Once students get to the end of the lesson, they don't need to do anything specific to hand in the assignment because it will already show up for you in the teacher side of a Nearpod account. Back on the teacher end, in order to see how your students did on the Nearpod lesson, you'll go down to Reports. There you can get a summary overview of how your students did, and here you're also able to see the extent to which students completed each segment of the lesson. So you might have some students that log in but don't actually complete any of the activities, And you can tell that because it will show 0% next to each activity. To see how students did on the quiz questions, click on quiz, and there you'll be able to see how all the students in your class responded to a question. You can also see an overview of their answer to the poll question, any open-ended questions, the drawings that they made, and all other segments of the lesson as well. This tutorial was really just a taste of what Nearpod can do. It's enormously resource rich, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Remember, even if you don't get a paid subscription, you can also buy individual lesson packs individually, and the lessons that they feature are also just a great model for how you might want to construct your own Google Slides HyperDoc lessons. If you have any questions or suggestions about how to use Nearpod, please comment below. Thank you so much for watching my video to the end. If you found the tips that I shared helpful, please share it with other teachers that you know, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my weekly updates. You can also check out some of the other tutorials I have on my channel by clicking on one of those 2 videos above. And if you're interested in downloading any of the resources that I've created and show on my videos, please visit my website at www.newedtechclassroom.com. Lastly, if you want to check me out on social media, my Twitter handle, Facebook page, and Pinterest account are all in the description below. Thanks so much and have a great week.